It's another episode of This Week in Google Glass, and we're going to be talking about Google Glass facing the ban in the UK. We're also going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. Luke's here, I'm here, Google Glass is here, so let's get started on This Week in Google Glass. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek, you got Geekazine, smack it all together like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, put it in your mouth and consume it. That's what This Week in Google Glass is all about. It's all about this thing right here that I have on top of my head that doesn't seem to be working right now. Yes, it's the second pair. Anyway, Geekazine is my Twitter handle, of course. Jeff at TWIGG with 2Gs.tv, twig.tv, and coming up here is my co-host, Court, or whatever you want to call it, Mr. Luke Wallace. How you doing, Luke?
Hey, doing great, Jeff. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Luke Luca, or Luke at twig.tv. That's TWIGG.tv.
Now we had a small little week off because I went to Anaheim and I went to Disney World. So what did you do last week? Anything cool? Anything interesting?
No, mostly working.
Yeah, got to
So,
catch up on those apps. Have you written any apps for your Google Glass yet?
nothing I can really talk about, but we're definitely exploring it, and there's a lot of good ideas coming around.
Yeah. So nothing personal, just all company driven type
No, no,
stuff.
no, nothing personal.
Okay.
Definitely had a few ideas on stuff though. So,
Well, cool. We should probably talk about that. And I threw that one to you, my idea to you last
mhm.
week, and I think that'll change the way a lot of things happen in certain situations. So I kind of sound
Yeah,
like the mob. Did you get that one thing from that one guy, and the other guy took care of it?
yeah. I can't say much more than that, but yeah, I got it.
So anyway, so you just basically had a down week. That's good to have, and I try to have those myself, but it just doesn't work. So I did go to California. I did have a down couple hours, which was cool. So I was in Anaheim, California. I was at the Disneyland Hotel for a an actual conference, and on Thursday, the people that brought me out there said, "Hey, let's go to Disneyland. We have somebody that's with us, also works for Disneyland, and they can get us in. And it's like three friends with their card or something like that. And so we got in on Thursday, and we had a lot of fun. And I took a lot of photos. I took a lot of video, which you can find up on my YouTube page, youtube.com/geekazine. So I want to show you a few of these pictures because it's really cool, and I love the look of some of these pictures. Like for instance, and sorry, Luke, but you can't see this, but we had the tow mater. We were in the California Adventure, and we got to ride the Cars ride, which I keep forgetting the name of it. But if you are a big fan of Cars, then you'd love this area. And then, of course, we went through Disneyland. We went through California Adventure. We had a time of our lives, and a Radiator Springs. That's what it's called, Radiator Springs race or something like that. So, some of the pictures that I have here. Luke, did you have any pictures that you wanted to show off for Glass? Or
No, not really this week. Yeah, you could see pictures of my desk at work or, uh, you know, TV at home when I was watching it. But yeah, it's a little hot in Texas right now. It's up over 100 most days, so don't go out a whole lot and do things outside
okay.
unless you have to. So, but yeah, I saw your Disneyland stuff on Google Plus throughout the week, and I thought that was really interesting, and it was really neat to kind of be in your shoes going through the different parts of Disneyland.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. I have up on my webpage at Geekazine, not at this week in Google Glass, but up at Geekazine, I got the full rundown of my California adventure, including watching stuff at the Disneyland Mall, the World of Color, the Phantasmic, which I'm finally getting the name right this time, and of course a lot of things that happened during the day. And then if you want to see the Radiator Springs Racers, I did a full through glass situation with Radiator Springs. and it was a lot of fun. So it's amazing if you're getting ready for Disneyland Adventure, you might want to go over to California Adventure and check out the Radiator Springs. I did Space Mountain. I hated it. I thought it was horrible. I did some of the other rides. Any ride that has something more than just a coaster to it, something that has a storyline to it, I was eating up left and right. But when it came to Space Mountain, it was just basically you went through. They turned off the lights and ran a roller coaster, and it wasn't even a good roller coaster. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
So I don't think people go for the experience as much as just being able to say they did Space Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like going to McDonald's just for the food, or reading a Playboy for the articles, or something like that. Anyway, so let's get in the news for the week.
Yeah, sounds great.
There was an interesting article I posted to today. We have it over at geekygadgets.com, and I think Wall Street Journal Wall Street Journal also talked about it. And basically, they were saying that there's possibilities that Motorola could be taking over the Google Glass. There was a one-on-one conversation with CEO Dennis Woodside of Motorola, where he basically said, "Yeah, we do some of the stuff with Google Glass. We help them through this or that or whatever." And it's a possibility that eventually we will have Motorola Google Glass out there. And if that's the case, that's a good kick in the pants for Motorola, since they're not doing too well right now, are they, Luke?
No, they've definitely been struggling the past couple of years with some of the Droid line and a lot of that stuff. I think they're trying to refocus now. They've got the Motorola X, or Moto X, or whatever the actual name is for it that they just announced last week. So, maybe they're trying to refocus, and Google is now owns that whole division. So it'll probably be something we'll see happen. And it wouldn't be surprising to anybody if they took over that, because now Google has this manufacturing group.
Yeah, and it makes it easier for patents. If Motorola holds this patent, they can say, well, we can put it into here instead of paying a cross-licensing fee. We're just handling the glass and putting it all together, so we can put our patents in without any question or licensing issues or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or DOJ involvement.
Yeah.
Which we all love the DOJ. They're awesome. They are. Really, they are. So, but anyway, if you want to read more on that, go over to geekygadgets.com. Did you have any other thoughts on that possible Motorola M on the side of our Google Glass in the future?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, we talked about this last week a little bit, how basically, Google's controlling the Glass a lot more than they have with, Android in general, where they basically just made it a platform and put it on everything. Glass, they're holding a lot tighter and not letting just anybody have the technology to build their own version of it, at least not yet. And they're not giving any indication that they will. So, I think that they're going to be very, very careful with what they do with Glass. So Motorola might be a safer play for them for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. So you don't think that there'll be an HP Google Glass or I don't know, HTC or other phone carriers or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say. It may be that they make their software more available so that you can, make something that integrates with a lot of the Google Glass services. A lot of companies have made Google Glass type things. This isn't the first heads-up display.
That's true. That's true.
And so, I think those other carriers or those other manufacturers might make devices again, the ones that have made them before. So, I think it could be a big resurgence, but I would guess not in the immediate future. Is there going to be a lot of different manufacturers of Google Glass specifically?
Yeah, that's true. So, all right. Well, let's move on from there. We're going to go over to. There we go. We're going to go over to a place called Fastco Labs. You actually found this article. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this? How Vice hacked Google Glass to tell a crisis story?
So basically, it's an article about how a company or how a guy kind of figured out how to use Google Glass to collect lots of information. Obviously, pictures and video being the primary forms there, and just use Google Glass to send it back and um, send it back kind of the home base and have these articles put together much quicker and really get that that information up in articles that can be read by the public a lot quicker than having to have a laptop or a digital camera, as all these separate components. It just made it a lot easier to combine it all.
Well, that's cool. And this happened. He put this all together during the Black Hat DEF CON conference, right?
Yeah, that's what I recall from it.
Okay. So, in fact, there was a few things at the Black Hat conference that I remember reading. Nothing that's coming to mind right now that has to deal with glass, but a lot of stuff that they were talking about the SIM card. That was the biggest problem out there. SIM cards being 56 DEC encryption and
Mhm.
easily hackable. And eventually, I wouldn't be surprised if a SIM card started showing up into Google Glass a year or two down the road.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So,
So, well, interesting stuff. This was over on fastcolabs.com. You can check it out here. And yeah, we'll go from there. Let's move on. We're gonna first of all, before we do, just want to let you guys know, hey, this week in Google Glass, you can find everything over at twig.tv, twigg.tv, and we got a special cool thing going here. We're not trying to do any sponsors on the show. What we're trying to do is donations. So go ahead and donate a few dollars to the show. Now, here's the really cool thing about this. As our donations, once we start covering costs, and let me tell you, there are some costs involved in doing this show. Once we've covered our costs, anything that's extra will start going into a kitty, and that kitty will start getting help other people get their Google Glass, because $1,500 is a lot to spend on Google Glass, and possibly once it starts rolling out mainstream with the Motorola on the side, then we're going to help people. We'll help schools. We'll help whoever needs glass get their glass. So just so you know, that's what the donation's all about. It helps us cover our costs. If you love the show, throw $5, $10, $20, $1,500 into the pot, and we'll be really grateful. Of course, I'm making up some Twig T-shirts that you'll be able to get if you donate $50 or more. So check that out over at twig.tv, thisweekingoogleglass.com, and donate there. All right, let's move on from there. We've got we're over on the verge, and you reminded me of this and completely forgot about this, and that is Google Glass in the UK. They're already looking into and putting together a driving ban for anybody wearing Google Glass. So I remember, and Robert Scoble talked about this last week, and one thing that I did mention to him was he goes, it's easier to look at Google Glass and then the road instead of looking at your dashboard and then the road. And I had to put the little blurb in. I said, I've been showing off this Google Glass to people, and they put it on, and some of them have some weird vision problems where they have a hard time focusing on this device up here and then focus on the road, as opposed to, like a computer, because it's technically in the same focal point. But here, some people are having some problems with that. And I don't know, have you seen that when people try Google Glass? Has there been anybody that just cannot use Google Glass that have tried them on, your pair on?
Not really. Most people that try them on, uh, just put them on, and then turn the screen on, and they just instantly see it. I've had a couple of people that I think tried to focus on the actual little prism right next to their eye, and that's very hard to do with it being as close as it is. But the way it refracts around that image, you're actually focusing at kind of a farther distance. Now not a quarter mile or anything like you are when you're driving, but more in that kind of 8 to 10 foot range is where you're focusing.
Yeah.
And most people that I've found don't have too much trouble with it. I have run into some people that have really bad eyesight, and so if they take their glasses off and they try to use it, yeah, they're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
Then if we kind of hook it up under the glass, they're able to get it in there and able to see it. But in general, I would say the answer is no. But yeah, there's a few cases. Hopefully, the version with corrective lenses comes out soon. I would love to have a pair of those so I could just wear these all the time and while I'm driving and all that stuff. Or at
Yeah.
least try them out.
Oh yeah, and of course I talked about that guy a couple weeks ago, where I didn't even realize that he was almost blind on the right eye, and I had no idea until he put the Google glasses on. Says I can't see a thing. So, but that's just one thing. It was just one thing that I noticed, especially people that have bifocals, because they get really when I guess when you get bifocals, and eventually I'll have bifocals, because that just seems to run in the family. Some people like the no line bifocal. Some people like a line in there because they just don't like that gradient in between, and it really becomes a nearsighted, farsighted focal point, I think, because I literally had one person that says, "I can see it, but I can't see the words," because I always say, "Look at the time," and then there's two magic words underneath the time, and they say, "I just cannot read those magic words," and it's like, oh, well, okay. Well, what do you do from there? There's got to be some sort of focus possibilities on
Mhm.
that, but for some people, it's just I think it's a strain because they're not used to focusing on something that's actually that close to their eye, kind of like magic eye or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So. I don't know. As for a distraction, I'm guessing you've worn your Google Glass while driving. I know I have because
I have it because I need lenses to drive, and like I wear glasses normally, and so I haven't felt comfortable trying to drive with them on. I'm
okay.
afraid I might miss something on the road. Um, but I will wear them, for extended periods of time, and usually it's up out of your vision. So if you're not actually trying to look at it,
Yep.
it kind of disappears and becomes this blurry thing that's, you can tell is up there, but it's not in your way. So um, I don't know if it's actually a distraction while driving firsthand, but it hasn't. It's not much of a distraction in the rest of the time I'm wearing it. So
Yeah.
I don't imagine it would be. What about you? I think you've worn them while driving.
Oh yeah, I wear them all the time while driving. And the one thing I notice is they kind of fall down just a little bit, and I'm
Mhm,
sitting here on the back battery, and I'm pushing them up just a little bit, so they
mhm.
do stay out of my focal range. But when I have the shades on, um, I don't notice this at all. It's like I said a couple weeks ago. It's like if you wear frames and you get a brand new set of frames because glasses seem to get smaller and smaller every year, and you get
Yeah.
that brand new set of black frames, and then you're seeing this frame all around you. But eventually you get used to it and you don't see it at all, and that's what happens here. If people wear them wrong and they put them over the eye, then yeah, that becomes a problem. But it's no different than looking down at the navigation screens, or even looking through your rear view mirror, as long as you're not looking at it constantly and
Yeah.
reading a text message or something like that. You just see something, it's like, okay, turn it off, move on from there.
Mhm.
So it's tough to say. Do you wear contacts at all, Luke?
No,
Okay, so there's no possibility you're going to try it with contacts on.
no,
Okay.
probably not. So I,
you
I am hoping
you
to
like
get
you
on the
like
list.
contacts. Come on, the contacts are good. I love.
I'm
I am so
Yeah.
legally blind myself that
Mhm.
I'd be wearing these Coke bottles, but I can wear contacts, and I'm really happy about that.
I'm thinking about going with the LASIK myself. I'm still waiting to see how that pans out, but that'll probably be what I go with someday.
Yeah. Well, you got to be like 30 in your 30s to get LASIK, isn't it?
I am in my 30s, so
Oh, I thought you were like 22. I thought you were young and
yeah. No, no, I wish.
no, but no, I'm talking like let's see, around 35. They suggest it's because your
Oh,
eyes settle at that point for a while or something like that. But
yeah.
anyway, what's that?
So I'm almost there.
Almost there. There you go. So I've passed that hill already.
Yeah.
But the good thing about me is, yeah, my eyesight is pretty much settled to where it is. I've had the same prescription lenses for the last 10 years, And actually, it's with contacts, it's actually gotten just a touch better. And if I did the aerobics and stuff like that, so this might be good exercise for your eyes,
Yeah.
possibly, possible. I don't know. So anyway, any other thoughts on this UK driving ban? Do you think that it's premature? Do you think that we won't see too many accidents come from this?
So, I think it'll be like anything else, with cell phones, there's always people that get into accidents because of their cell phone. Um, and, there's safe ways to use a cell phone while driving, and that is minimally, like, yeah, don't be reading text messages, don't be writing text messages, uh,
But
if you have that
but
kind of
playing
navigation mode,
but
like
playing
that's what I use it for a lot is turn on
playing
navigation.
playing Candy Crush is okay, right?
Oh
Because
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
I
doing
do
right
that
now.
on the highway all the time.
Okay.
You're cruising along. It's like, well, when else do you got time to play? So no, but I mean, it's like anything else. There you can be distracted by it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a matter of not blaming the device, but blaming the person who's you know getting distracted and like voluntarily taking their attention off the road. So
Yeah. It's like rubberneckers. Yeah, one of the top reasons why you get into a little fender benders is because you're looking at another accident or you're looking at something else on the side of the road. Like
yeah,
I was driving yesterday and somebody was changing their tires, and instead of using a jack, I wish I would have taken a picture. This is so hilarious. Instead of using a jack, they used an old tree stump, and they had the car up on the tree stump. And I don't even know how they got the car up on the tree stump to begin with, but
yeah,
they got it up on the tree stump and they got the tires off, and it's like, wow, how?
yeah. And they almost caused an accident because of that.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have been a responsible driver, I do pretty good on driving, knock on wood, but I've been in a couple small little accidents. One was a distraction accident because I was getting annoyed with the fact that traffic wouldn't let me turn left, so I decided to turn right, and I didn't see the car coming. That
Mm,
was going to turn right anyway, so I scraped his bumper, something like that. So things like that. It happens, but to blame all these little distractions like this, I don't know. It's
yeah.
like I said before, I remember the days when I had and I kind of relived that when I got my burner phone after my iPhone got stolen. Um, I had the little burner phone, and it had tactile keys, and I
Mm,
could actually text. And I tried doing it while and I was driving, yeah. And I was sitting there and I was doing a text, and I was driving, and I was figuring out what the five key is, and to go, okay, A B C D E F F A L A B C D E F J K L. Okay, that's four. So and I went through that again, but I
yeah,
got back into that. But just one distraction to another distraction to another distraction.
yeah, yeah.
So
So they may ban it just to be on the safe side, but um, you know, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but right now, but um, it's good that they're looking out for people and trying to make it safe. So,
yeah,
uh, we'll see how it plays out.
yeah, because eventually, the idea is that these things are going to be, you're going to have a regular pair of glasses, and nobody's going to see the side frame, and nobody's going to see the lens, and it's just going to be there.
Yeah. So if
So
I have to wear corrective lenses while I drive, and my lenses have Google Glass in them, what do they want me to do? Because I can't
exactly,
take the glass off because I need the glasses to drive, but they won't let me drive with my glasses on because it's got Google Glass in it. So
full
I guess I have to
blown.
have a pair of driving glasses.
That's probably true. Yeah, you'll probably have to have different like you have sunglasses, prescription sunglasses,
Hmm.
regular glasses, prescription
Yeah.
glasses, and so forth. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's in the UK, so there's no Google Glass in the UK anyway, right?
Not officially.
Yeah, so
Like,
it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the casinos here, and we cannot use them in the casinos. That's it. All right, let's move on. New feature that I'm doing, I started getting into the apps, the different apps that we have here for Google Glass, and there's new apps coming in every day. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight an app for the app of the week. And this week, I think the app here, the app that I've been using is called Kitch Me, and it's a really cool cooking app that lets you bring the recipes to your Google Glass. So what happens is you you find the recipe, and they have a lot of great recipes. In fact, Jennifer is gluten free. So I wanted to find a recipe that was gluten free, that was low in calories, low in sugar, and we found some great dishes. There was a really nice soup that I wanted to make. So I loaded them up on Google Glass. Of course, you load up the app into your My Glass area, and then you turn it on, and then that loads it up into your glass. And then I just found the recipe and said, send that to my Google Glass. And what it does is, just like with a text message or something like that, it'll send it to my Google Glass. And when I slide over to the actual recipe, I hit the button, and it goes to a child menu. And in that child menu, it's got the ingredients. It's got a picture of what the dish is supposed to look like. It's got the instructions on how to make it. So when I go to the store, I just call that up, and then I got all the ingredients right here at my glass, and then I can pick all that up, come back home, and I can do step-by-step directions right from glass, or I can go to their website on a tablet or a PC or something like that and actually go through the recipe. So once again, it's called Kitch Me, and pretty cool stuff. So Luke, what do you think? You said something. There was one problem that you had with this app here.
No, I think it's a great app as far as the idea, the concept. I know when we've been talking about these kind of things at work, one use case that we thought about was being able to use it hands free. So as you're cooking, let's say you're doing something messy like making bread, and you're kneading the bread or something, and then you want to see, well, what's the next step? How, like, I forget, do I put oil on it and then put it in the pan, or am I supposed to let it set for 5 minutes, or like, what's the next step? I don't want to wash my hands and then and then go through it, because, like, what if I just need to fold it over, put it in a bowl, and I'm not have to touch it again? So
Yeah.
we were thinking about just kind of a hands-free thing for just speed, and so this one doesn't appear to have any controls like that yet. But that's something either I'm sure they'll add it if it becomes easy, or maybe they'll come up with some other ways of handling it. But not to say that it's a bad app or anything. I think it's a great use case, and it's one of the most common ones that I've heard people describe as things they wanted. So something that we need to definitely keep an eye on, and I'm sure you'll see many more of these kind of apps. So yeah, no, great find.
Well, it's interesting. When you mentioned that before, it was like, yeah, well, I suppose if I did this, it would still work that way. And then
Yeah.
I thought to myself, well, I have one of those styluses that I have for my iPad. Would that work on the touchpad here? So I wasn't able to go in the other room and get it because we were getting ready to record. So that's something that I'm going to have to try to see if that works, is using a stylus. But otherwise, yeah, it would, if I'm not sure if it had like a OK Glass next page or anything like that. From what I called up for the recipe, and it's too far into the stream to pull it up again. And that's another thing, is if you start putting a whole bunch of pictures and you start putting a whole bunch of emails and Twitters in between, you're going to be sitting there going until you can find it, and that's a small little problem on the whole
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah, and we still haven't seen the release of the full GDK yet. Hopefully, that'll allow even more control of Glass, with apps. You can already write Android apps for it. That's what they're kind of suggesting people do, is just write a native Android app. Uh, Hopefully, the GDK will make it easier to do some of these common use cases, and
yeah.
the voice recognition and some of that stuff. So we'll see uh, how that shows up, and I'm sure we'll be announcing it here on the show as soon as it's available. So
Yeah. Now, taking one more turn before we go, you said I was surprised that you didn't have one, but my Chromecast came in as I was in California, and I plugged it in the other day. And the first thing I thought to myself was, when are they going to make the glass so I can actually call up on the movie on Netflix and push it from my glass to the Chromecast?
yeah, I we were talking about that at work as well, and somebody was saying, "Oh, it'd be neat to be able to send video to it." And I thought, "Oh, that's kind of dumb." But then, as I thought about it more, it makes perfect sense, right? Like, I get stuff from CNN on my glass, like they send me little top news stories or whatever I can figure in their app. And it'd be neat to just, pull it up, see the video, and just have the video, oh, let me just send that video to my TV so that I can watch it there instead of watching it on my glass because I'm in front of the TV. And that's where all of a sudden you're in the future where, oh, hey, somebody's video calling me. Well, let me send their video so everyone in the room can watch, the video call or this video that I just got sent or something, you're like, oh, let me just send that to my TV with a couple of taps. So.
Well, if a future revision has Chromecast with a webcam to it, instead of doing a hangout where nobody sees you, you can throw it to your TV, and all of a sudden they see you, and you can throw it back to your glass if you decide to move from the living room to the family room, and then throw it to the Chromecast over there, and go from there. But the first thing was I wanted to see that happen once YouTube, because YouTube videos, like you just said, I get stuff like that all the time, and I'm not going to watch 166p on my little glass there. I'm gonna go to a phone. I'm gonna go to a tablet or a PC and actually watch what the video is, and then go from there. So.
Yeah, no, it's a very neat thing if they can get everything all integrated and talking together.
Yeah. So there you go, Google. That's your next challenge. Anyway, I think that does it for this episode of This Week in Google Glass. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. Hey, if you have any questions, you want to be part of the show, you got your Google Glass, come on the show. Send me an email, Jeff@TWIGG, that's with 2Gs.com, that's over here, twig.tv. Otherwise, my Twitter handle is Geekazine, or you can contact Luke.
Yeah, Luke at twig.tv, or I'm on Twitter at LukeLuca. And yeah, I've got Glass. If you've got any questions, just @reply me on Twitter or message me on Google Plus or send an email to me and Jeff. And yeah, it's like we will answer any question you've got about Glass. If you want us to try using an app you found or try out a use case, do they work upside down? Do they work, underwater? I'm not going to go underwater with mine, but maybe I'll let Jeff try that.
Well, I have another website called How to Use Google Glass, and there actually is a line in there that says that you don't want to take it scuba diving. So don't
what
take
if
it scuba diving.
Swimming in a pool? What about that? I could go jump in my pool and let you know, but I don't think that they would cover the replacement.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Or I did have it on the boat a few weeks ago. It did get a little sprayed on, but nothing major on there. So as for working upside down, no, I don't think that's going to work here. So
what if you're upside down too, though, doing like a handstand, headstand?
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So
and you have to try that out.
You try that out. I'm going to set my Google Glass down because
I'm not going to try it now.
We're going to take our Google Glass off, and we're going to hold on for another week. And Luke, thank you very much for coming to the show. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same Google Glass channel.
Sounds good, Jeff. I look forward to it.
All right. My name is Jeffrey Powers, and with Luke Wallace. This is This Week in Google Glass, episode number 10. And thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.